Every time in history, from the Black Plague to World War II, famine follows war and disease like clockwork. And if you've been paying attention to it lately, the pattern is repeating itself in modern day time. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, welcome in. I am Doomsday Queen here, and today I am going to be talking about a subject that I am extremely passionate about. As I've gotten to know you guys, and you guys are getting to know me, when I was in high school, I used to compete in history. This is a comfort level to me. I love history. I used to compete in Washington, D.C. for National History Day, especially in World War II. I ended up taking a very high place nationally, and so I want to tell you guys something that I was listening to and it hit dead on. So I was listening to a podcast, we were driving out to the property. I've been in a lot of pain lately, and I was listening to Joe Rogan. And he brought on this guest, and I can't even remember this guest's name, but he was bringing up the four horsemen theory. And if you guys don't know what the four horsemen theory it is the pestilence, war, famine, and death. These four things always coincide together. And if it doesn't make sense to you right away, let me kind of break it down a little bit better for you. You have a plague or a pandemic, war, famine, death. Those are the four horsemen, the apocalyptic theory amongst itself. And this is applying in modern day time. And he was dead on the spot with it. When I heard it, I was like, wow, okay, somebody else who has been listening and watching history throughout time and really researching it is seeing it, and it going to that big of a platform is huge. And I give kudos, like excellent guests to have on that podcast, because the reason why is this is something I have watched my entire life. This is something I actually shifted a lot of my prepping around, is the historical events and the circulation of how things continuously like to repeat themselves. I know that sounds really crazy right now, but let's dial back and let me teach you a little bit about my family. You hear me talk about my papa a lot, which is my grandpa. He was born in 1910, which is right before the Spanish flu hit, which was in 1918. What happened immediately after that? After 1918, when the Spanish flu happened, World War I happened. With World War I, immediately after that came famine. And then amongst the famine, also death, obviously World War I. Now, how does this continue on throughout our history? Well, let's go into World War II, right? World War II happened, and then you had the disruption in the agriculture, right? This is almost like its own supply chain disruption, where you not only had the disruption in the supply chain, but the government overtook businesses, industrial units, started making tanks instead of clothing, shoes, those kind of things that were being produced. Everything was all hands on deck for World War II, right? And then immediately after that was famine. Famine hit directly into it. And it's this never ending continuous circle that you see throughout history. So you have the famine hits in, you have ration cards, you have all of these things that hit straight across the board, which is insane to think about. And now there's people out there on the internet that are like, no, nothing's happening, right? Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to see any of this. You're mistaken. Why would anybody want to say to prepare for famine? It's here. That is one thing that I said would follow. It's a domino effect. And if you've been here long enough, you know that I did a whole video over the domino effect. And this is something that was preached to me as a very young girl, that everything, once one thing tumbles, the next one hits and the next one hits, and it continues. We're here. You can see it in modern day time. You have the war in Ukraine. You have the Middle East having wars that's affecting grain prices, fertilizer prices, routes, cargo ship routes. That's affecting the supply chain. What did we have prior to these wars? A pandemic. A pandemic hit, and then wars followed. So what is the next domino? And are you guys ready for what's about to happen? Because it's here. Famine. This isn't just another YouTuber out there or another person telling you it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. famine always follows. It's a never-ending circle. It just keeps going. And you can see it. Now, well, Joe Rogan's show, they were really talking about like a triangle effect and the four horsemen, and those all are very well applied right here. But if you always associate either a pandemic or a disruption, right? You got World War II, it was a disruption in the food chain, right? So food chain, supply chain, however you would like to put it, follows by famine. All those wars are always followed by famine. And we see it in modern time. Today, right now, you can see it. You can see it. You have not only, there's tariff wars, you have the US and China, and even though war isn't in the United States the same as it is in other countries, it's not cities being destroyed, but it can be tariffs, it could be, retraction on benefits, those kind of things. Famine, famine, famine. So modern signs of famine risks currently right now, you have the wars in Ukraine, the Middle East, affecting grain, fertilizer exports, droughts, shipping restrictions, you got the Panama Canal, you have the Red Sea, and then risk of global prices. The food prices keep going up and the government is stockpiling right as we sit here and speak. The government has been stockpiling and preparing for what's about to come. So how are people not awake? Well, we got to take this as a symbol, right? They always follow that circle. It happened in World War II. It happened in World War I. And truthfully, we're right about where World War III is. And this is why preppers stock food, not fear. History has proven famine is the final domino effect. We talked about it last month. The dominoes were falling and each thing was tipping over and it was tackling the next obstacle in front of it. The course continued. So the dominoes are falling, and make sure that you are preparing. Now, let's talk about some quick checklists. Like, these are basic level. If you're new here and you're just starting to get onto the prepping train, a lot of people are experienced, but remember, we're welcoming in all preppers because first of all, we don't close the gate to anybody because one more person prepped is one less person we have to worry about. So real quick checklist: rice, wheat berries, beans, fat, vitamins. Why would I say vitamins? Well, nobody wants scurvy during the next famine. These are things that could happen. Malnutrition. You want to make sure you have all your vitamins. You want to be stockpiling these types of food that will last you a very long time. Now, if you think famine can't happen here, history says otherwise. So subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. And as always, stay aware, stay prepared, and always have your head on a swivel because we are in the final circle. Famine's next to follow. That's what history says. Wonder if history will prove us wrong.